Extreme MAGA Republicans just don't threaten our personal and economic rights. They embrace political violence. Think about it. They refuse to accept the will of the people. They threaten our very democracy. That's not hyperbole. They threaten our very democracy. We're literally in a battle for America's soul. I mean it. They threaten our very democracy. I mean it. They embrace political violence. 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 I mean it.
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It's Sunday Night Live, and you're here at the zoo where we've got YouTube, thepreparedmind.club, subscribers, everyone, welcome back. Sunday's a big night because we look forward into the future. That's right. I sit here in the esteemed throne of the prepared prophet, or the prophet of prepping, or whatever I'm supposed to be. And folks, that's not religious. It is secular, meaning I don't claim to be some kind of spiritual leader. I'm just John. And with you, I just look at what is happening, all the information out here, and we put it together. We blow the dust and bullshit away, and we look at the facts. Just the facts, ma'am, said Sergeant Friday. Anyways, Prepared Mind on Sunday Night Live. It's the zoo. Everybody's together. We're turned loose, and we're looking what is happening now. Instructions down here. If you have a statement, you have a question, use the super chat button up here. Make a donation to the Get the Fuck Back. That's the GTFB fund. And stay back. So the GTFB and SB, right? Get your question into me. Jolene will put it up on the board. I'll make you famous. Oh, yeah. And in fact, I've had over 3 hours of phone conversation today. Over 3 hours before the show here. Over 3 hours. Probably closer to 4 of just looking at what's going on and talking to people about the world. Now, I've got all kinds of topics to talk about. But it is your show. You get to direct this. And there is a lot of stuff going on. I'm calling this Def-Con2 at the zoo. Right? I went in, got my hair done up, did some number ones on the side, right? Took the hair and flattened it just a little bit. Now, if we go to Def-Con1, folks, I'm going to a 0 on the sides, high and tight, flat top, and it's all business. But as it is, you're going to notice a little bit of a change. Normally, Sunday Night Live, I'm a little more laid back. I joke a little more. I drink a lot, right? I still have it here, right? This is my Glenlivet 18, right? But I need to keep a sharp eye on what's going on. And I want you guys to know this isn't a freaking joke. Now, it's a lot of fun. I'm a fun guy, right? And I'm not a mushroom, but I'm a fun guy. But this is a very serious topic. What has been happening? Despite the fact that we don't want it, and despite the fact that we see what they're doing, they, meaning the bad guys, are continuing to do what they, the bad guys, have intended to do, and it is the Great Reset. And I think there are a lot more surprises in here than we can guess. At the same time, it's not like a box of Cracker Jacks. The secret surprise in the box is not something you want. It's something that we're all going to have to deal with. Now, to kick off the show, as usual, Darcy T steps in with a $50 super chat donation on PayPal. That's how she tends to use it. Down below, we got PayPal. We got CashApp, and I recommend using CashApp, PayPal. It's great. But I'm going to tell you what, there's a problem with PayPal, right? When we also have, of course, the super chat button through YouTube. Now, this is what Darcy T says. She says, good evening, John. I thought it fitting to donate with PayPal since they were attempting to fine people for spreading misinformation, or as we call it, the truth, also known as fact. Now, PayPal's new policy, folks, that they rolled out said that they will fine users $2,500 directly, taking their money out of their accounts if they spread misinformation. When I read that, I thought, whoa, ho, ho, ho. You can arbitrarily take someone else's money because it's denominated in US dollars. That is a form of property. Dollars, money. If I have to pay taxes on it, by golly, it's real. So they could just take money. They could fine people. Well, that's, as it is. That's why my original Prepared Mind PayPal account is kaput, dead ski, gone. They don't like me because I said something that was misinformation. And see, it's arbitrary. What they call misinformation, you might call truth. What they call misinformation, you might say is fact, reality. Right? These people living in cyberspace, they've got their head in their cyber asses. The real world is out here, folks. Now, PayPal's policy to take people's property. Now, PayPal, when a transfer is made between a store and a person and a person and a store, or a store to a store, anytime money transfers, they get a little teeny piece of that, just like a credit card. Just like everyone in the world, to provide a service, they have a charge, right? It's incredible how they go, well, our new rule is we can take your property. That's theft. And to say, well, you agreed to it, terms of service, we let you know, you're notified. Well, how about if I go to PayPal's headquarters? Okay. Even though my account is no good, it's not working. Guess what? I still have an account with them. They said they will not close it. They said they will stay connected to my bank account, whether I like it or not. I cannot terminate and close my PayPal account. Do they think that they can go through PayPal and into my bank and withdraw $2,500 because they don't like the truth, the fact, the reality that I refer to? How about this? How about if I put them on notice? I send them an email. You are hereby notified. This is a change in policy, right? This is my terms of service. I'm going to come down to your headquarters and I'm going to nail on your door, very similar to Martin Luther, a couple of problems I have with PayPal. And at any time I feel like it, I'm going to take out a little bit of aggression on their property. Well, they'd be like, well, we didn't agree to that. You can't damage our property, right? They would probably get all uppity and stupid. That's illegal. You can't take our property. You can't. Well, you arbitrarily, without any input from me, without me agreeing to it, say you're going to take $2,500 from me or from Jolene or from Man or from Darcy T. You're just going to take their money because you decided something? How about if we decide to take your property, we give you notice, you don't have any fucking choice. You can't break the relationship off the same way I can't close the relationship with PayPal and get them out of my bank account. Talk about an abusive relationship. Holy cow. I may as well be married again. Anyways, it got better. It got better. After that was discovered, PayPal reversed its bullshit. Major backlash. PayPal now says the company will not seize $2,500 from users if they spread misinformation. Once again, who authorized them? Who said it was fine? Who said that they can do that? Currency, or the stuff we call money, is property. You can't come into my house, and I can't come into your house and say, hey, look, there's a pile of money right there. I'm taking it. You'd be like, hey. Get your grubby paws off my money, John. That's mine. It's property. I own it, right? That's how that works. So it's incredible that PayPal thinks they can do that. Well, I guess maybe they talked to an attorney after the fact. There's a fucking head scratcher. How do they get through all of the ideas on misinformation without consulting an attorney about criminal behavior in the Constitution? Folks, that's the world we live in. In the banking world, finance, they're at Def-Con2. They're this close from starting World War III with the people. Oh, it's off the hook and off the rails with these people. We're that close. We're that close. And folks, and once again, it's not you doing it. It's not you going to PayPal saying, hey, we want to start World War III with you. It is them doing it to us. PayPal out there is doing it to you. PayPal out there is doing it to me. And they're just like, we're going to take your shit. Unbelievable. These fucking people. I'm telling you. Unbelievable. Now, I want to do this with you guys. I want to play It's Time to Take a Wild Guess. Sponsored by the Jim Jones Juice. Okay, now, once again, I like to have a little fun. But what's going on out there is a freaking nightmare. Now, earlier today in the morning, I was talking with, well, it wasn't Mr. X. I already have another Mr. X out there. It was Agent, let me give this guy a freaking the right letter. Agent L. Anyways, I was talking with Agent L. And I said, Cliff High, when Cerveza first came out, he literally had a meltdown on camera, right? On live. I mean, he melted down, started crying and bawling that the world was going to die because of coronavirus, COVID-19. Well, I thought, I don't think so. But what I think his computers found was COVID-19 was a Trojan horse. What do I mean by that? Well, without COVID-19, nobody would have taken the Jim Jones juice. Nobody would have, right? Nobody would have taken the Jim Jones juice. Nobody, right? Nobody would have taken the Booster Roosters juice booster, right? Nobody would have taken that unless they were scared that everyone was going to die. So they told us, everyone's going to die. Started in China. They locked cities down. People were boarded in their homes, welded the doors shut. Oh, people are dying everywhere. They're doing the kicking chicken. That was a friend of mine named Aaron told me kicking chicken, right? People, chicken. We had no idea when those people died, what they died of, and why they were being filmed. No, we had no idea, right? Then it went to Italy, and they had all these people dying, and people started dying everywhere, even though we kept seeing fake deaths and the fake body bag stories and setting up triage tents out of hospitals that never got fucking used and sending medical ships from the United States Navy into New York Harbor, and nobody ever went there. They scared the world into thinking COVID-19 was going to kill everybody, and you're killing grandma. Stay behind the glass. Stay in your homes. Unbelievable. Oh, by the way, I want to see us hit 600 people live. Right up here in the corner of my screen is a number of how many people are live. I want everyone. Share that internet address up there. Wherever it is in your computer, share it. People need to wake the hell up, and we're going to talk about some exciting topics because I know that you guys are going to follow these directions right here. Some topics prohibited by YouTube. You're going to talk about some stuff. You're going to make a super chat donation, and we're going to get into this. But I freaking lost it. Cliff High was right. He thought it was the Trojan horse. It wasn't the Trojan horse, folks. It was the Jim Jones juice that is fucking people up. I have a funny feeling, folks, it has killed more people than they're ever going to let on. The number of videos coming out where speakers ask the audience, how many people know someone who had a serious reaction? And like every damn hand in the audience of hundreds of people went up. I know someone, he died. My friend Randall died from taking the Jim Jones juice. Died. He didn't have a bad fucking day or an itch or a sore muscle. No, he fucking died. So, I try and keep things light. Let me let some pressure out there. Take a wild guess. You and I have been looking at this, and we discussed it. And yes, we're also disgusted by it, but we discussed it and said, what is going to happen over the next year? What is going to happen, folks, over 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? They're going to continue to push. You need to get the Jim Jones juice. You need to get the juice boosters, right? Well, let's take a wild guess, shall we? Detroit Lions cornerback Savion Smith today, not last week, not 2 months ago, today during football, collapsed on the field during an NFL game. NFL, folks, Detroit Lions. I watched the video. It was just like any other play. That guy came out of the backfield, ran, bumped into him, and he spun around, fell, and that was the end of it. It was not a hit. It wasn't like Ronnie Lott taking someone out. It was not, folks. It was not the assassin from the 1970s Raiders, right? It was not any kind of hit like that. And they said it was a neck injury. The players gathered around and covered him up, which is, respectful. They actually drove the ambulance onto the field. I have never seen that in my life. Normally they put a player on a stretcher or put him on the cart and they kind of cart him off the field. They brought the fucking ambulance onto the field, folks. Take a wild guess why Savion Smith collapsed. They even called his father out of the stands to get in the ambulance with him. I wonder if the mainstream media is going to take a wild freaking stab at this one. I tell you, folks, just today. But I want to actually take this story because this is a big part of Def-Con, folks. Defense condition. They're threatening us with nuclear war. Yes, they are. They're threatening us with economic collapse. Yes, they are. They're threatening us with energy destruction, and they're doing it. And they're threatening us with a medical nightmare, and it's happening. Never anywhere in my life, folks, have had so many super athletes and super youthful athletes have they died. Right? Is everyone learning? I know you're learning. We all need to, it's on, folks. When I said the zombies are out there, they're creating zombies, they're hurting people. It's true. It is completely true. This time it's the starting LSU, that's Louisiana State University, LSU Tiger offensive lineman hospitalized just a couple hours before the kickoff of his game on Saturday. Take a wild guess. We are having medical Armageddon hitting right now. And nobody realizes it. Again, speakers in front of audiences, statisticians, insurance companies, morticians, and undertakers are saying we can't believe the numbers of people we're seeing. It is startling. Once again, how many people do you know have had a serious injury just from taking the Jim Jones juice? How many people do you know have been hospitalized from the Jim Jones juice? How many people do you know have died from the Jim Jones juice? Ain't nothing to see here, folks, right? Nothing to see here. Are we learning yet? That thumbnail I put up. Shall we play a game? That was from the movie War Games back in the 1980s, starring Matthew Broderick, about a computer that was tied into the Defense Department missile launching system. Right? Let's play Take a Wild Guess. Do you think the computers know what the hell's going on? Do you think it would take a computer more than 5 seconds to figure it out? Let's see. We introduced a new, thoroughly tested, but untested stuff. And now people are dying, and they're calling it sudden adult syndrome. And people are having freaking heart attacks. People are having clots, disgusting, filthy clots taken out of their system. No one had clots. No one clotted up. You just don't freaking clot. Now you could get your arteries could be closed off from plaque, cholesterol, or some shit. But no, people didn't have a big line of snotty clot in their veins. Unbelievable, folks. Unfreaking believable. But I'm not done. But wait, there's more, folks. I'm just gonna beat this spike, wow, right into the ground. Marvel Comics illustrator, DC Comics illustrator, died suddenly. He was getting on a plane in Paris. When you're in Paris, the city of love, the city of lights. Paris, right? Smells like cheap wine and urine. Paris, right? Je m'appelle Jean-King. Oh, okay. Anyways, he's having a good time in Paris, goes to get on a plane, fucking dies. Take a wild guess. Not an old man. This was not Stan Lee, by the way. Not Stan Lee, who himself was a fossil, but God rest his soul. Anyways, this guy's name was Kim Jong-gi. He's the one that died. Looking at his picture, he's 50-ish, my age, right? But I'm looking at him and I see a picture of health. I see a guy with a good attitude. Kim Jong-gi or Kim Jong-gi or Kim Jong-gi, forgive me. He looks very happy, very healthy, everything. He just freaking drops dead. Take a wild guess, right? Oh, but wait, there's more. I'm serious, folks. The Jim Jones juice, the juice booster, this little turd of a man right there, the man on the can, that little pile of crap. What has he done to this world? What has he done?
With COVID, I mean, the things that we thought we knew in the beginning turned out as the months went by to not be the case, which really forced us to adapt and to change some of our policies and recommendations. That was interpreted by many as flip-flopping or not really knowing what's going on, when it really was the evolution of the science.
Fuck you, Dr. Fauci.
The best vaccination is to get infected yourself. If she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine. If she really has the flu,
she should not get it again.
No, she doesn't need it because it's the most potent vaccination is getting infected yourself.
Fuck you, Dr. Fauci.
That's right. Fuck you, Dr. Fauci. We're up to 450 people live right now, folks. And that is after 25 minutes live here. It's incredible. We get more people live on this channel on Sunday Night Live at the zoo than the President of the United States. Unbelievable, folks. Take a wild guess. Michigan. That's another college, folks. Michigan assistant coach Mike Hart. Not Mike Hunt, but Mike Hart. Carted off the field after suffering a medical emergency. Take a wild guess. Right? Take a wild guess. Have we figured it out yet? People are just falling over. Politicians crashing on stage. Children getting sick and just dying. Now, I watched some very interesting films. Mr. Skylight has been helping the Prepared Mind channel keep an eye on this. And he has a worldwide international network himself that he gathers information, video footage, and that information shows up at thepreparedmind.club and Subscribe Star. So if you subscribe at either of those, thepreparedmind.club, $2 a month, 7 cents a day, you get links to this information. In fact, Mr. Skylight, I want to make sure that you continue. Thank you right there. Thank you, Jolene. I want to make sure that you send those to Jolene. You've got her address. A lot of times I'll double up and send them back to you guys. But we definitely, folks, need to wake people up. This is coming, right? Since when do players, coaches, children just fall over? They are now telling kids, well, there's this thing called myocarditis, and it's the enlarging of the heart, the swelling of the heart, and you need to be aware of it. Since when do you tell kids any of that? My mom used to kick me out of the house in the morning, folks, like 7, 8 in the morning. She's like, get out of my house. She wants some peace and quiet, right? And I don't want to see you till the sun sets and it's dinner time. This would be summer, of course. My mom was a great mom. She was not abusive. She wasn't bad, folks. She just knew kids need to get out of the house and run around all day long, exercise their lungs, exercise their muscles, exercise their minds. Never once did I have a heart attack as a kid. Never once did I fall over, keel over, and do the kicking chicken. Crazy stuff, folks. I mean, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. How about this one? Let's take a wild guess. I wonder how many cans of this crap Sara Lee, and I'm not talking about the nice pastries. This is not Little Debbie's Aunt Sara Lee. This is former World Wrestling Entertainment star Sara Lee, died at age 30, folks. Take a wild guess. I know I'm beating this one right into the ground. Pow, pow, pow. They're coming for us. 1 year, 2 year. Everyone knows somebody who had a terrible reaction, a serious injury, went to the hospital, or died. How freaking alarming is that? All right. I tell you what, I've got to stop right there before I blow a freaking socket. I'm going to come back down, breathe. Folks, it's Def-Con2. We're that close. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. It is a crazy, intense world. Now, let's do this. Let's get to your questions and your comments. Time for some super chats. Jolene, who do we want to put up first? We've got Bravo Romeo. $5 super chat donation. He says, girlfriend's sister, healthier than most, after the juice suddenly developed dozens of blood clots. Cost her the right leg below the knee. Trust us, they say. Obey us, they say. It's safe, they say. It's effective, they say. Safe for who? Effective at what? This is a horrible story. Def-Con2, folks. Def-Con2. I'm worried about the Russians. I'm worried about the Chinese. I'm worried about North Korea. I'm worried about the Iranians. I'm worried about frickin' zombies right here at home. You got Democrats who are zombies between the ears, right? These crazy lunatics out here that want to kill us because why? Because we don't think that they are the absolute source of authority. No, they're not. There's that guy up there. Answer to him. I don't answer to anybody else, right? His rules, not the ones made by these lunatics. All righty, Jolene, who do we have next? On Sunday Night Live, we've got Carport Carl with a $2 super chat donation. Thank you, Carport Carl. Appreciate the support, man. The support you guys give, the donations, folks, go to the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back Fund. It keeps me here. And I tell you, a lot of people are wanting to run away. Run away, run away. It almost seems like it would be easy to run away. But where are you going to run to? Right? Running away from the fight, you're just going to run into the arms of someone else that wants to beat you, stab you, kill you, take your money. You're going to go to Mexico? Right? I listened to Doug Casey. He's like, he's a nice guy. Doug Casey, super genius, brilliant money guy. Anyways, he was like, Mexico, no, not good. In fact, it's just the whole world's a shit show. These international people, they're having some fun. All right. That was good. There was the alarm right there. That was the alarm right there, Jolene. Okay, let's do this. Let's do another super chat donation. And what do we got? We got William Nipper with a $9.99 super chat donation. With more good news. I'm being facetious. It's not. He says, unfortunately, my mom passed away from the solution. Now, you use the word solution. The Nazis, folks, who are socialists, the Nazis had something called the final solution. And that was for them to kill everybody that did not fit into their world plan. We topped 500 people live right here on Sunday Night Live. We're doing great, folks. We need to spread the word. I was talking with Agent L earlier, and he reminded me that what we do, you and I, has a lot more weight and importance than we can even guess. We know that YouTube is lying about the numbers and how many people really give a shit about these topics. We know that they're hiding us. Me, you, everybody out there, that we share these videos and people just don't get it. They don't get the emails. They don't get the messages. But it's actually making a big, big, big difference. Because I get it, folks. I hear it directly from people who email me, call me, text me, have gotten a hold of me, and they said, you made a huge difference in my life with this message. This is my message, right? This is what I do. It is, folks, unbelievable. I'm going to just switch a little bit here. The Florida Surgeon General has found an 84% increase in cardiac-related deaths in males aged 18 to 39 following, you guessed it, the Jim Jones juice. He recommends young males refrain from receiving the Jim Jones juice. Right? Once again, fuck you, Dr. Fauci. Fuck the jab. Unbelievable. Well, guess what happened because of that? Oh, you guessed it, or you might have guessed it. Twitter decided they didn't like the Florida Surgeon General giving his opinion. So what did they do? That's right. They took it down. They hid the information. Right? Now, they removed and then they reinstated the Surgeon General of Florida's cerveza bug Jim Jones juice warning. Why did they have to put it back up? Because he cited facts. He cited statistics, not his opinion, right? And maybe that's important. We need to quit citing our opinions. It's facts, folks. Just the facts. Unbelievable what's going on out there. Try and tell the truth, and they try and crush you for it. Dr. Fauci, right? You can't be hurt enough to make up for what you have done to the world. All right, and I am not recommending anyone do anything dangerous, harmful, mean, stupid, or anything like that. Right? We don't incite violence. We don't commit crimes. We don't glamorize violence. That's what the Democrats do, and that's what the globalist leaders do. All right, let's do some super chat donations. Jolene, what do we got? We got Crazy Uncle, and I love Crazy Uncle for his great prepper tips. Good to have you back in the board, buddy. He says, it is fall, meaning you need to double check your winter gear. Rodents get in everything. Boy, you touched on a couple topics just with that. It's fall, folks. It's going to be a cold winter. It's always a cold winter, which is why I moved down to the south. Double checking your winter gear. What he means is, let's see, food, water, shelter. Oh, yeah, clothing. Clothing. Number one, do you have and need winter clothing where you're at? Hell, in Europe, the government says, wow, we don't really want any energy. We don't want coal. We don't want nuclear. We're going to rely on solar and wind for our energy. So guess what, Germans? Put on a sweater. Get used to wearing clothes in your own house. Heavy clothes to stay warm. yeah, folks, that's going to come here to this America as well. It's going to come to this country, what they're doing to Europe. They're doing it, folks. Check your winter gear. And now we move on to the second part of Crazy Uncle's thing. Rodents get into everything. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Keeping your clothes protected from rodents. Not only do they get in it and chew holes in it, they piss and crap all over your clothing. Rodents are a nuisance. They've always been a nuisance. And the war on rodentry is never going to end. They multiply faster than we can manufacture mousetraps. Anyways, yes, rodents bad. Rodents also get into food and spoil food. Make sure everything you have, prep-wise, is protected. Non-alcoholic. All right, because I got to keep it straight, folks. I've been told that I've been put in this position to talk to you guys, and I need to take it up a level on my sobriety, having nothing to really do with alcohol, but rather to be taken seriously, right? I like to have fun with you guys. Having a sense of humor goes, right? The satire goes with the message here, but we do need to be very aware, right? And the last couple of weeks, I have drank way too much because I drank too much. And I don't want anyone to think that it's just some kind of a freaking game, right? Right? Shall we play a game, John? Well, it's a game to them, but to you and I, we're pawns on the chessboard, and we can be squashed and kicked off at any time. All right, let's do another super chat donation. Jolene, who do we have up next? And it is Christine Bihana with a $20 super chat donation. Thank you, she says, and thank you to you, Christine. And it was great talking with you as well. I learn from everybody, folks, and I do the very best I can to help everyone else learn, to see. There's our spirituality, our faith is really important. And I'm not going down the road to that, but rather, history books. Did you know? I mean, most people don't realize that we take entertainment today for granted. We take entertainment today for granted. From movies to music to books, fables, stories, jokes even. Folks, hundreds of years ago, they didn't have books. The powerful churches of the world do not let their people read. And if you can't read, you can't write. And if you can't write, you cannot write books. And before 1500, guess what? They didn't have the printing press. Books all had to be written by hand. Parchment, paper was not common. That you couldn't just go to the store and buy copy paper. There was no copiers. There was no paper. There was no way to write because you couldn't. What did the people have? They had the ability to learn from mouth to ear, right? So they would listen to stories from the Bible, right? That's where they got their stories, your lessons on morality, decency, right and wrong. They're taking that all away from us, right? Christianity, religion is bad, right? Get your morals from the movies, your entertainment. Get your morals from sports players, your entertainment. Get your morals from rapsters, right? R. Kelly, go to jail. Wow. That's what they're doing, folks. That's what they're doing, right? So unplug from media. Relax. Oh, reality is right here waiting for us. Jolene, what do we want to do next? Who is up? Do we have a question, a comment, a joke, an observation? It's Crazy Uncle with a prepper tip number 2, a $5 super chat donation. He says, before you buy winter clothing, talk to someone that has had to use them. Best advice you could get ever. It's highly recommended, folks. I have bought a lot of cold weather gear from Sportsman's Warehouse, from Sportsman's Guide, Bass Pro Shops, all kinds of stores, right? And usually you can tell, right? You just know. I also have a lot of military gear. But yeah, finding out from someone who actually owns it. That's why we have the preparedmind.club. We have equipment and clothing and goods for prepping there that have been tested by us, right? Bug out bags, right? Backpacks, gear, equipment, tents, everything, folks. We put it to the test. But go to someone you know if you can. Someone you know that you know has their shit together and say, what do you recommend for the climate we're in? All right, figure it out. I used to sit out in the snow and the ice all night long trying to take care of varmints, you know, coyotes and foxes, things that get into the hen house. And I could sit in the snow for hours and my feet never got cold because I had the right gear. You know, I'm not saying I enjoyed sitting in sub-freezing freaking temperatures, but hey, that was life then. That's why I'm here now, deep in the heart of the South, deep in the bunker where I'm not going to be cold. I don't sleep with socks on. It's not that kind of cold here. All right, Jolene, who do we have next? Let's do this, and it is none other than Blue Cord Devil with a $50 super chat donation. And he says, I like Ron White's thought on preparedness. Number 1, buy a helmet. Number 2, put helmet on. Tell you what, I love Ron White, and I was drinking scotch before Ron White became famous, and everyone got to see him stand on stage, do his stand-up comedy with a stogie and a glass of scotch the whole show. You know, comedians are interesting. Comedy, in my opinion, it involves satire. It involves cynicism, right? People would usually say cynic. To being a cynic, you're an asshole. Well, no, you have to have the cynical mind to make the observation, see what's happening out there, diagnose it, take it apart, and explain it, put it back together in story form, and it makes things called jokes, and it's funny, right? So I was married, and my ex used to always tell me, you're not very funny. You think you're funny, but you're not funny. I said, well, you know, I mean, your opinion notwithstanding, everyone else I tell my jokes to, they think they're fucking hilarious. Anyways, Ron White. Yeah, buy a helmet and put helmet on. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. I hope you are good. I hope all is well in your household. And yes, there are some steps here. Buy helmet, put it on, right? Buy helmet is prepping. Put it on is action. Get a self-defense freedom seed spreader, right? And go practice with it. Get lessons, get training. Whether you just get training to learn how to use it or you go and you get your concealed weapons license, unless you live in a state that is open carry or concealed carry without needing a permit. More states need to get to that place, I think. Now, yeah, you have to get long-term food storage, store it, and then you need to also rotate it. We need to get into the practice of not only having the preps, but using the preps, right? Buy a helmet, put it on, make sure the thing fits. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense and a plan. Having solar panels, right? Having a generator, having radio communications, whether it's CB, shortwave, and I am not the communications equipment specialist, folks. We sell a lot of great gear at the preparedmind.club through our affiliates. I'm just not a comms specialist, right? I tell you what, though, folks, I'm communicating now with hundreds of you at once, and I love it. You guys are communicating with me right now. I'm going to give you some more communicating. Get this. Does everyone remember John Bolton? Does that name ring a bell? John Bolton. Well, he's been, I think, the Secretary, was it Secretary of Defense? I think it was for Bush. Anyways, this John Bolton guy, what he likes to do is he likes to go on TV. He's been an ambassador and foreign diplomat in many places. He likes to go on TV, and the first thing he says is, we need to go to war with that person. Right? This guy is the biggest warmongering pile of shit I've ever seen. I mean, the biggest, loudest. He's got this giant broom handle mustache. John Bolton. Guess what he's doing now? He's calling for the assassination of Putin. and he wants regime change. Now, right now, he does not have a position in the Biden administration. But isn't it interesting how John Bolton, a Republican, is right on board with Joe Biden and the Democrats? John Bolton is pushed for war and pushed for war and pushed for war and regime change. Russia is not Nicaragua. Russia is not the Congo. Russia isn't Macedonia. Russia is freaking Russia. And it's a nuclear weapons superpower. And by the way, how can this country, the United States of America, or rather not you and I, because we're the people in the United States of America, how about the United States government? How the hell is it that the United States government, which is supposed to operate under the principles of a country is led by people that it elects, says, well, you know what? Openly says, we need to assassinate the leaders and change the government in another country. We need to impose our will on another country. Where is that in the concept of self-determination and democracy? How the hell is assassinating Putin a democratic principle? Now, I'm going to say this. If John Bolton mentions assassination and regime change, trust me, the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, is already working on it. Oh, that's right. Approximately 1 month ago, there was an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin. And then the next day, a very similar assassination attempt occurred on Voldemort Zelensky. Tit for tat, quid pro quo, you betcha, folks. You betcha. It is coming. We've got a lot to talk about, folks. We just do. Good golly. Before I get to it, I'm going to unleash it. Okay. Before we get into my stuff, I got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. Let's talk about my stuff. We've got less than a month now, folks, before we get to the midterm elections. There is a lot of fear out there that we're going to have a tactical nuclear weapon set off somewhere on the planet. I'm saying it's going to happen in Russia. If it happens in Ukraine, it's a false flag. If it happens anywhere else in the world, it's a false flag. Just my predictions. But we've got an election coming up. And if there is a serious problem, if there is a, shall we say, a device that someone pushes the button on and it goes kablamo in America, they will suspend the elections here. I think the Democrats are so frightened and horrified. And this is an opinion that's been shared with me by many other people. They think that they're going to try and cancel the elections because the Democrats are going to lose and lose big. They've lost the Hispanic population. They've lost a big percentage of Black Americans. They've lost, folks, so much of their own voting base is running away from them because they're so out of touch, so radical, so anti-American, literally anti-American, anti-law, anti-constitution, anti-safety, anti-justice. They're so sickening that no one wants to vote for them anymore. Well, not as many Democrats as there used to be. These people are fucked up, folks. Well, this is big news. In Delaware, the Supreme Court there has ruled, folks, mail-in voting is unconstitutional. And it also struck down, as in negated, same-day registration. They can't register you to vote and then let you vote that same day. A lot of states, folks, there's a couple that have gone the other way and said, oh, yeah, you go ahead and cheat all you want. But a lot of states are saying, law and order comes first. Right? Democrats are seeing this. They're hearing it loud and clear. We don't want you cheating. You're a bunch of cheating frickin' bastards, and we don't like it. They're hearing it, and they're getting scared. They know, folks, that if they lose this election, and trust me, there is going to be cheating off the fucking hook to try and keep as many seats as they can. They don't have a choice anymore. They're throwing out the electronic machines. They're finding out that these are being made in China and that there's Chinese chips in them, and they're throwing those out. And I find it actually disturbing and aggravating that they aren't doing this in every single state. Let's see. Democracy is supported by the Democrats, who don't want freedom, liberty, or democracy. They're trying to assassinate leaders in other countries because that's democracy. They're trying to control speech because that's democracy. They're trying to cheat in elections because that's democracy, right? How much more do we have to see from these freaking people that is anti-democratic? And by the way, we have a constitutional republic. Democracy, live here in the United States. All right. Anyways, I had to jump on that. Boy, is that misinformation? Or am I talking about facts, reality, truth? You bet, folks. You bet. All right, let's do this. We got a super chat donation. I want to get it up on the board and see what you guys want to talk about. If you got something you want to talk about, there's a super chat button up here. We're down below. We have a PayPal link or a Cash App link. I guess I had to look and see if we got any of these Cash App links up. At the moment, no problemo on that one. So let's do this. Let me line everything up. We got Alex Jones with a Canadian $5 super chat donation. And he says, my knees are shot, so I will stand my ground and fight. God bless you, man. And up in Canada, you've got trouble. You have trouble, brother. The government up there, that Justin Trudeau is a traitor. He's a treasonous turd. I don't know. Well, now that the Queen is dead, of course, he swore fealty to the Queen. She's now passed. Is he going to get out in public and swear fealty and servitude to the new king? Well, we'll find out. But in either event, in any event, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are waiting to run you down with horse hooves. So if you're going to shoot, you may want to make sure you put the crosshairs where they count. And this whole waiting for those to see the whites of their eyes, they're wearing sunglasses. That's why Joe Biden wears sunglasses. He doesn't want anyone to see the whites of his eyes. And in fact, I would say it looks like his eyes are completely blacked out in a lot of pictures. We got some sick games going on, folks. We truly do. We're still in the first hour, folks, and we have 572 people live. There's that number right there. So your job, get that internet address, send it out, email, text message, carrier pigeon, smoke signal, tie it to a cannonball, launch that shit out there. We need people here waking the hell up. All right. What a world. Where do we go next? I want to talk about law and order since I've been shitting all over, right? The Democrats down in Florida. They're continuing to have some problems with looters. Not as bad as you would think, but enough, folks, that law enforcement wants to make sure it's minimized. So now, Sheriff Grady Judd is not in an area that was destroyed by Hurricane Ian. He's from Polk County, which is up there right next to Orlando. But he's gone and helped folks. Everyone in Florida, everyone in the South, other states, other counties, other municipalities are throwing a hand in and helping the good people of Florida clean up that mess. And Sheriff Grady Judd is doing his part as law enforcement, as a sheriff's. He is the sheriff. And he says, quote, I would highly suggest if a looter breaks into your home, shoot him so he looks like grated cheese. Grated cheese. Now, I'm laughing at what he said, but I'm not glamorizing violence. A lot of people said, well, maybe he meant Swiss cheese, full of holes. At the same time, if you've ever seen Swiss cheese, it's mostly whole, just with some holes in it. If you see a pile of grated cheese, right, it's just a freaking mess. That shit gets blown all over. Plus, grated cheese sounds a little like Sheriff Grady. Anyways, that's the story in a law and order society. city, county, state, in a country where the people have a right to protect themselves. God bless America. We do have that right. Don't ever forget it, folks. The moment we give it up is the same time that all criminals, whether they're in government or on the street, will take full advantage of you. We are 5 away from hitting 600 people live, folks. 5 away. I want to hit that 600 tonight. It's just a good number to do. So, Jolene, let's do this, though, while we're waiting to hit 600. Let's do another super chat donation. We got Crazy Uncle with prepper tip number 3 tonight. All right, let me do that. Prepper tip number 3. He says, the autumn and winter hunting seasons are beginning. Make sure you double check your state laws. Don't get pinched over something dumb. Well, folks, this, when I was a student of the law, early canon law, early common law, the king assumes that everything that lives on his land belongs to him. So the people are his peasants, his peons, or peons, if you will. The king also assumes that is sovereign. He owns all the land, and he owns all the animals. The fish that live under the water and the animals and birds in the air even belong to the king, right? The sovereign. In America, you and I are the sovereigns. The people are sovereign. The government, though, assumes that they own all the fish, all the animals, and all the birds. And they have guns and badges also. So yes, please beware and be aware of the laws that are out there. Whether or not we agree with them as to who is the sovereign and who has a right to hunt and fish. Let me say this, though, folks. I want you to understand this is a common law principle. You have a right to take food and put it in your mouth. That falls under the right to life. You have the right to eat food, not bugs. I mean, if you want to eat bugs, go ahead. Right? The government cannot stop you from putting food in your mouth. They'll do everything they can to take food from you, though. But still, he's right. You will get pinched. You'll get busted. You'll get wrapped up by fish and game cops, right? Fish cops, they'll fuck you up. So please, understand the rules and play by them if you can, while we have other various arguments in court about what is real and what isn't. All righty. I think we have some more. Jolene, who do we want to step up next? Brad Jones with a $2 super chat donation. He says, no comment other than I'm listening. Okay, here you go. There you go, man. No, I'm backing the boat up on this one. I want to follow up on Crazy Uncle's tip number 3, right? That folks, the snowflake tears are flowing. The whiners are whining. The snivelers are suffering in the Democrat Party. Why? Because Representative out of Georgia, Republican, Big Marjorie Taylor Greene, introduces, quote, hog hunt with MTG sweepstakes. I call it helicopter hunt. They got a picture of her in a freaking helicopter with the earmuffs on, leaning out the window, got a safety harness on, and an AR-15, and she's pop, 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 pop. Right? She's getting some on some hogs that they chase. Right? You can win a hog hunting trip for 2 with Big Marge and round trip airfare, ground transportation, and lodging. Now, I don't know who came up with this idea. If it was just to make snowflakes melt into a puddle of sniveling, salty boogers and tears, it's working. I just love the idea. Now, my son, Lucas, you guys have heard about Lucas, right? He's going to be a dad here with the boy pretty soon. Years ago, he goes, Dad, I know what I want to do when I grow up. This is back when he was like a sophomore in high school. I said, what are you going to do, Luke? What are you going to do, man? He says, I'm gonna work for those companies that that take people out in helicopters and hunt hogs in Texas. I'm moving to Texas. I'm going to be a hog hunting guide. I said, man, you're not going to make a penny at that. He goes, what? You told me I could do anything I want, Dad. You told me. I'm like, yeah, Luke, you can do anything you want, but they ain't going to pay you. People pay them. And they don't need anyone. Freaking hogs are everywhere. I said, you're going to have to stand in line to pay money. You're not going to be able to get paid to do that as a living. And he was like, oh, man. Anyways, yeah. Now, how do you get to hunt hogs with an AR-15 out the side of a helicopter as you circle the little, well, because they're varmints, folks. They're nuisance. These hogs there's so many that they tear up. They tear up pasture land. They tear up farmland. They tear up trees. They tear up everything. They destroy. They are an incredible nuisance. And yes, by the way, they do get sent to the meat processing plant and turned into tasty meals for those who care for pork products. But yeah, they're a destructive nuisance in California and Texas and Louisiana and Florida, Georgia and Mississippi. The hogs are everywhere, folks. I mean, Arkansas, hell, their team is called the Razorbacks, which is a nickname for these malicious, deadly freaking pigs. Anyways, I just know she did that. No hunting license needed. Check your local laws just to be sure. Anyways, speaking of getting your ass shot off, how about this, folks? What kind of world do we live in? And what the hell happened? We were 5 away from hitting 600 people live and it dropped. Dang it. Shouldn't have said anything. YouTube's like got the kill button. They're like killing people, like throwing switches at nuclear power plants. Shut down that state. We got to make John go under 600. All right. Chess champion is at a tournament. And he's being accused of using a wireless vibrating signal to cheat. I don't know how you buzz somebody to tell them what play, right? You've got, let's see, you've got a rook, knight, bishop, king and queen, right? And another knight, bishop, rook, and then a bunch of pawns on the board. How does buzzing you tell you which piece to use and where to place it on the board? Anyway, this chess champion has been accused of cheating. But it wasn't just a wireless vibrating device. They scanned his ass, folks, and accused him of using vibrating anal beads to cheat. That's a huge what the fuck and fuck your tournament. What kind of horse shit is this? I mean, if I was going to play in a tournament, they're like, John, we believe you've got vibrating anal beads in your ass and you're cheating with them somehow. So we want to scan your ass. It's like, no, I tell you what, you keep your tournament. And instead of having me participate, why don't you go get a couple of drag queens in there to entertain you a bunch of fruitcakes? These are some sick people. Why don't you go get Dildo Anal Butt Plug Monkey? And that was a real person, folks. Rainbow Dildo Butt Plug Monkey was supposed to read books to children in England. I mean, did I get that right? What was the name of this monkey character? It was Rainbow Dildo Butt Plug Monkey, I think. Freaking weirdos. And they want to just start scanning people's ass because it's just a huge... Folks, that's where we're at. Literally, that's where everything is at. I still haven't got to the big enchilada, folks. The big enchilada is still on the board for discussion in hour 2. I'm waiting for somebody to talk about it. It is legitimately why I'm calling this Def-Con2. It really is. Jolene, where are we at? Okay, let's do a super chat donation. We got Cottage Farm with a $50 super chat donation. She says, I'll take a shot in your place. By golly, Cottage, you do that. She says, met a new neighbor. They offered me a shot of vodka. I accepted. Good deal. There's nothing more that I would like than to really just relax, kick back. But I'll tell you what, last week I paid for it. We had one heck of a big show. I do want to thank you, Cottage Farm, for your terrific support in all that we do. We have great people here, folks, and I cannot explain to you enough, sincerely enough, that there are people out there right now that without you being here on the channel, whether you're a donator, a commenter, someone on the side, just seeing the name on the board, it brings relief and comfort to them, because these are rough times. And so that's why I'm here also, because these are rough and shitty times. And taking that shot, God bless you. Enjoy Cottage Farm. You rock. All right. Next, where are we going next, topic-wise? And then I'm just going to jump into it. We got Crazy Uncle is back with another $5 super chat donation and prepper tip number 4. He says, we have all mentally prepped for what could be coming. The younger kids have not. Be ready to deal with freakouts from them and adults too. This is very true, folks. This is why I've been here since December of 2013. December of 2013. December of 2022 will be the end of my 10th year, folks. 10 years I'll have been on here live with you guys. Well, back then I just did recorded stuff. I did not do live. That took a while for me. Anyways, the idea was chance favors the prepared mind. If you're not prepared mentally, it doesn't matter what stuff you have. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You've got to be mentally aware and prepared. You have to have a plan so that when you see people freaking out, you know what to do and how to deal with them, right? What's the best way to deal with them? Not talk to them, not be visible, not even be known by them, right? In other words, be gray, be invisible. But, you know, these lunatics, these zombies out there, they're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So we're going to have to be very, very, very careful of them. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, folks. Why is it Def-Con2? Why is it Defense Condition 2? And the bridge between the Crimean Peninsula, which is a Russian territory, and Russia proper, the mainland, the largest bridge was destroyed. There was an attack. There was a major explosion there, folks. It is an act of war. It is intentional. Now, Ukraine is saying, well, could have been us. They even came up with, folks, within a day, a postage stamp showing an exploding bridge. Talk about glamorizing and glorifying violence. Why the hell isn't Twitter shutting everyone down in Ukraine for being a part of that fucking mess? Glamorizing and glorifying an act of terror. It killed people. It's harming others. It's an act of war. It was done intentionally. Now, I don't really believe it was Ukraine, folks. I just think like Hamas, they're taking credit for something. Like any terror group, they're like, oh, something blew up over there. And they're like, wait, no one's saying anything. I'll take credit for that. I blew up that thing over there, you know. They just want some credit. Like, yeah, you better be scared of me because my name is the Scorpion, and that sounds scary. Anyways, I think that this bridge blowing up was a false flag to pin the attack on whoever is going to piss off Putin the most. Now, I really don't think it was Ukraine, but I have 3 candidates that I want to put up there. And all of them could involve using Ukrainian civilians, Ukrainian military agents, spies, whatever, right? But my candidates for this being a false flag, number 1, World Economic Forum, the Illuminati. Number 2, believe it or not, China. Number 3, rogue CIA, Mossad, MI6, secret government agencies. Now remember, we had this attack here on the bridge from Crimea to Russia. And here we are all the way in the future. And we've had all kinds of people talking about, and we get to today, and John Bolton is like, yeah, we need to assassinate Putin, and we need regime change in Russia. We went from having a bridge blow up to assassinate Putin. And all along the way to get there, we've had, well, it could have been this and it could have been that. The Ukrainians are saying, yay, here's a postage stamp commemorating this act of terror. Right? Just like with the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines, they got blown up. And CI is like, it wasn't us, it was Ukraine. Right? And Poland's like, thanks, USA. And they actually said that. Thank you, United States. And they're all celebrating, yay, we just blew up the gas pipeline that keeps us from freezing to death in the winter. We're so fucking smart. Folks, Defense Condition 2. Def-Con2. Now, there is war going on inside Ukraine. There's fighting going on inside Ukraine. People dying, shooting guns, launching bombs, mortars. They're screaming in pain, bleeding, all that stuff. It hasn't spread to other countries, folks. That'll be what I'm going to talk about coming up here very quickly. Very, very quickly. What is coming next? Well, if you guessed, nuclear weapons, well, you win the prize. Nuclear war, folks. Now, growing up in the 1980s, we were told that Ronald Reagan was dangerous bad guy. Now, the media never came out and said he was dangerous. They did say he seems kind of old for a president. But, 40 years later, we love Joe Biden. He's super old. Right. We were told that Reagan, look out, man. We don't want a guy like that. He could launch the nuclear weapons. Now these fucking idiots are like, launching nuclear weapons preemptively is a great idea. That is what the leader of Ukraine says. He's sitting right here and he's going, hey, guys, launch missiles that way into Moscow. That'll teach them. Unbelievable, folks. Putin warned the World Economic Forum. Putin warned Europe, NATO, United States government. I have nuclear weapons. The precedent was set. Get this, folks. The precedent was set in World War II by the United States government. The precedent that it's okay to use nuclear weapons. The justification for the use of nuclear weapons was done by President Harry S. Truman. What is that precedent? That in order to save lives, nuclear weapons can be used to force an enemy to quit, to give up, to surrender. And so that's the justification that was been used, why it was okay to use nuclear weapons on civilian population. That's right, folks. The United States government didn't blow up the Japanese Army, the Japanese Navy, the Japanese Air Force. They blew up Hiroshima and cooked the people of Hiroshima like pieces of meat. And then they turned to Nagasaki and they dropped another atomic weapon on Nagasaki. Civilian population. Thousands, tens of thousands, people dead. Instantly. Cooked in a nuclear furnace. Nagasaki. So Putin says, oh, that's the justification for using it. In order to stop a war from having to be fought, which will cost many, many, many more human lives on both sides, it's better to show military determination and supremacy with nuclear weapons. Folks, Def-Con2. Def-Con2. Putin has called this attack on the Crimean bridge an act of terrorism. Folks, terrorism is using violence and the threat of violence. Terrorism is using violence and the threat of violence to accomplish a political objective. The political objective that Ukraine would have is to scare, terrorize, and convince Russia that if they don't give up the states that said, we don't want to be part of Ukraine anymore, we want to be part of Russia now. If you don't give them back, then we're going to continue to do this to you. We're going to continue to commit acts of terror, violence, destruction of your infrastructure, your energy, and your people. Remember now, folks, Ukraine has taken credit for blowing up a Russian warship and sinking it. Ukraine has taken credit for blowing up fuel depot, ammo depot, and now a bridge. You see what's going on here? And all these things, folks, occurred inside Russian territory, not in Donetsk or Luhansk, right? Zaporizhia, Kherson, right? That's not where these things have happened. Those are the formerly Ukrainian territories, which voted for independence, separation, and then annexation to the Russian Federation. Now, I love how democracy is espoused by Democrats. We love democracy. By the way, we're over 600 live. Democrats and socialists worldwide love to scream about democracy, and the people's will must be understood and obeyed unless it goes against what the really rich oligarchs and one percenters like. Right? These territories have been abused by Kiev, Ukraine, the Azov Battalion, the Ukraine military in general, and Vladimir Zelensky, Voldemort, as I like to call him. Folks, we're this close. Now they were talking, right? Now, when I grew up, it was the huge mushroom clouds, the big boomers, right? Huge nuclear, giant, freaking bombs. Then there's these things called tactical nukes. They're very small, very tactical. They're precise. You can shoot them out of artillery cannons. You can put them in smaller, mid and short range missile systems. And does that make it better to use? I mean, what's the difference between a small nuclear mushroom and a really freaking big one? Well, the difference just is in how many people you kill at one time. So if you kill 1,000 people versus killing 100,000 people, it makes it better. Well, see, the World Economic Forum, right? The Davos douches, the Illuminati, the super rich oligarchs who want this war in Ukraine. They're willing to sacrifice people. They're willing to either use nuclear weapons on Russia, as Voldemort Zelensky says. He says, we need to strike first. We need a preemptive strike to let them know we're serious about them even thinking of using nuclear weapons. We should do it first. And folks, by the way, that little jackass Zelensky gets nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize with that kind of shit in his head. This guy is not a leader of a country, folks. He's not a leader of people. He's not a leader of any military, even. He's not a leader. He is an obedient servant to these monkeys. Okay, now, so they're worried about Russia using weapons that are very powerful, atomic nuclear weapons, right? Someone's going to get disused at some point. If one of these blows up in Ukraine, and I think that is where it will be, folks. And whether or not Putin is the one who launched it, or whether or not it is NATO who has lit one of these off, people are going to die. People are going to suffer. And the world is going to be at Def-Con2. Are you prepared? Do you have potassium iodide tablets? I strongly recommend you find them. I would try Amazon. I'm no fan, no lover of Amazon. But there we go. The preparedmind.club blog. Thank you, Jolene. Okay. Potassium iodide. If anything nuclear goes off, this helps keep you from getting radioactive cesium in your body, where it would lodge itself in your thyroid and give you thyroid cancer, which can kill you. Okay. This is what we have going. This is why I've got the number one flat top started. I am extremely concerned. That's why I'm not drinking the Glenlivet 18. Even though Cottage Farm and Darcy T did $50 super chat donations. Right? Even though, it's time to get more serious about this. It doesn't mean we have to stop living our lives and stop smiling and telling jokes and having fun. But on this show, I'm going to take this job just a little bit more soberly. I want people to understand I'm not a joker. Right? This isn't all about jokes. This is about reality, truth, fact. And Blue Cord Devil, thank you very much. I knew I was missing one. Blue Cord Devil did $50 super chat donation too. And I can't do it without you folks. Jolene can't do this show without you guys. We can't take the message to the world if we aren't watching and telling the world we have a message worth paying attention to. Truly, we all need to be very, very prepared. Very, very aware. I want everyone who's showing up in the last half hour, get that internet address right up there and spread it around. Send it, email, text, smoke signal, carrier pigeon, tie it to an arrow and shoot it. No, don't do that. That's dangerous. But we do need to get the message out, folks. These people are playing not with fire. They're playing with nuclear weapons now. Okay, Jolene, let's do it. Who's next on the Prepared Mind channel? Super chat donation. It is Damian English with a $5 donation to the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back Fund. Oh, great one here, Damian. He says, North Korea has allegedly fired 4, count them, folks, 1, 2, 3, 4 SRBM missiles in the last 2 weeks. Do you think Rocket Boy has the balls to hit South Korea? Now, the ballistic missiles, SRBM is short-range ballistic missiles. North Korea has ballistic missiles. There's some concern over whether or not they have nuclear or atomic weapons. Of course, they could get some, shall we say, uranium and create some dirty bombs, but they're not the same as an atomic bomb or a nuclear weapon. Do I think he has the balls? If China tells him to do it, then he will do it. If he wants to do it on his own and China says no, then he won't do it because he will get his ass kicked by South Korea, Japan, and probably what's left of the United States military that doesn't wear lipstick and high heels and fishnet stockings with their uniform every day. I'm so sick of these woke Fruit Loops trying to destroy the military, and folks, successfully so. Successfully. I think that he has the balls to do it, Damien, but only if he has his big brother China behind him. Now, with regard to the military, last week it came out that the U.S. Army, folks, the U.S. Army, their recruiting goals, they've missed by 25%. That's huge. They needed, say, 4,000, they got 3,000. They needed 40,000, they only got 30,000. They're 25% below what their recruiting target was. Now, on top of that, folks, the U.S. National Guard, similar issues. They are having people leave the National Guard in wholesale fashion, right? National Guard, right? They used to be kind of a joke, a laughingstock in a way, because people just didn't understand what it was. National Guard supplements, supports the Army, the Marine Corps, everything, folks. The National Guard is every state having additional military people who train and are armed. They know how to use all the weapons, everything. People are saying, you know what, screw the National Guard. We don't want, you know what the big one is? How much you want to bet? It's the Jim Jones juice and the clot shot and the boost, right? The juice booster. How much do you want to bet? The problem with the military is Secretary of Defense, that loser Lloyd Austin, and General Milli Vanilli of the Pentagon, and the rest of the Pentagon scum who have decided they're going to destroy the military with woke stupidity. Folks, by the way, if you are not aware, the city of Washington, D.C., the federal city, the only federal city, Washington, D.C., is full of a hugely intense number of perverted, sick people. And that includes the Pentagon. I have heard for years, to my disgust and dismay, all about the Pentagon, Washington, D.C. being a hive of filth. And it does sicken me because, I liked to believe that the military, at least, had a sense of propriety with regard to its duty and its oaths. I thought, okay, politicians, they're scum, right? And so, yeah, they can be a bunch of perverted fucksticks. But no, it's the military as well. They play their disgusting, sick games as well. The FBI, yeah, the 7th floor. I'm still waiting for that. We were promised last week that it was going to come out and someone was going to reveal all the sickness in the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Well, we're waiting. Enough of this Q stuff. I want facts. I want reality. I want truth. No more lies. Right? Enough of that shit. Right? Enough promises. I want action. Well, folks, guess what? We're going to get that action. We're going to get that action. They're going to want, if they're going to launch a nuclear weapon, folks, if they're going to light off an atomic weapon, they're going to need to do it on or before Halloween. On or before Halloween. That gives us, if today is the 9th of October, basically it gives us 3 weeks. Sometime in the next 3 weeks, if something is going to happen, it's going to happen then. Because why have a nuclear detonation after the election? How can that help Joe Biden? How can that help the Democrats? How can that help the central banks? How can that help the oligarchs in Davos, Switzerland? How can that help the military-industrial complex if they start losing their power and control? Because, folks, Washington, that scummy place, the District of Criminals, right, is about to get a fresh batch of America First, Make America Great Again, Trump-style congressmen. And the Washington elites, whether they are Democrats or Republicans, are scared to death. They're absolutely scared to death that people who take their oaths seriously, love America, are going to be in charge. And so apparently, according to some, Kevin McCarthy, scumbag Republican minority leader in the Republican Party of the House of Representatives, and the scumbag Turtles McConnell, absolute total scumbag, sellout, loser, wimp of the Senate, the Republican Senate leader, that it'll be status quo, everything stays the same in D.C., and we're just going to keep playing the old games. No, America, folks, like Italy, is demanding populism. That is the will of the people to have their freedom restored to them. It's not some new political party. It's we want the old stuff back. We want apple pie. We want baseball. We want our flag. We want our country back from these scumbags that stole it and are continuing to pilfer and thieve and everything else. Now, that's why they need, folks, a nuclear weapon getting dumped. Right? Literally, folks, they need that. Now, in Europe, they're starting to have some second thoughts going, whoa, wait a moment. Because super idiot jackass Biden's nuclear Armageddon comments were found so egregious that even the French president, I married my mother, cowardly sellout Emmanuel Macron, he's kind of going, hey, Biden, man, not cool, pushing this nuclear Armageddon. Why is that? Well, I guess Emmanuel Macron is already trying to surrender, right, before any missiles are launched. He's on the other side of Poland, on the other side of Germany, on the other side of Switzerland. Then there's France. They're starting to worry and go, wait a minute, we're getting close to nuclear war here. And jackass Biden keeps shooting his lips off and antagonizing Putin. Yeah, folks, the more they push this and the more Europe realizes, wait a minute, the United States is way across that ocean over there. And they're talking over the top of us and telling Putin, fuck you, Putin. And they want more war, and they're threatening nuclear weapons. And Europe is not going to have gas, energy, electricity all winter long. And Washington, D.C. keeps telling us that's a good thing. And don't worry, we'll send you more gas, when they actually don't have more gas to send, folks. They don't have more liquid natural gas. They don't have LNG or CNG. They don't have it. Right? There's nothing here. Nothing here, folks, for these people. All right, let's do this. I think Jolene says we've got more Super Chat donations, and I don't want to go too long after you guys ask some great questions. So, holy cow. And not only is it a 762 donation, it's a 5762 donation from Blue Cord Devil. And he says, still worried about my sons and folks, which means parents, have taken the Jim Jones juice. My sons are mentally third graders at 22 years old. They were forced to take it and had no control over it. I fear for them all, but no one will listen to me. I'm shocked, man. I had no idea that your 22-year-old sons have been reduced mentally. I had no idea, man. That's terrible. And I'm sorry. It's terrible. I fear for them all, but no one will listen to me. They were forced to take it, right? The reason he's telling us this, folks, is not because he wants sympathy. Prayers, I'm sure, are always welcome. But this is a warning. Right? It's a warning born of care and love and consideration for others. I think that's why Blue Cord Devil put this up here. His sons are mentally third graders at 22 years old, right? Forced to take it. His parents have taken it. How many people do you know have taken it who didn't want to? They said, I ain't taking that shit, and they kind of got forced into it. They got roped into it, right? This crap, folks, is fucking people up. It's right. They're taking advantage of people who are old and they don't understand what it is they're being asked to do by injecting this shit into them. People are being hurt by it, right? People who are incompetent. In fact, I can't remember. I think it was either the Coast Guard or the Air Force. And correct me if I'm wrong, someone. It was one of those two. But a branch of the military was supposed to be given flu shots. Guess what they were given? Accidentally, folks, I learned on Saturday, accidentally they were given the Jim Jones juice instead of a flu vaccine. How does that happen? It doesn't just happen. Now, if 1 in 4 has a serious reaction, you would think by the 3rd, 4th, or 5th person that people in the line would be going, hey, someone just had a shitty reaction to that stuff. I'm done. You ain't putting that shit in me. At what point did they realize they were injecting people with the wrong stuff? You can't trust the nurses. You can't trust the doctors. You can't trust the pharmaceutical companies. You can't trust Dr. Fauci. You know, this little jackass, folks, this guy right here on the can, who years ago, which is in the video when he's the little younger Dr. Fauci, says, yeah, the best way to not get it is to get it, and then you have the best antibodies. Yeah, that's because natural immunity takes over. You get a flu, now you have the antibodies. You don't need a shot. And if the flu isn't deadly, you just get it if you get it, and then you're done with it, and you have antibodies natural that last and last and last. And it doesn't, folks, chew away your brain so your IQ drops. It doesn't cause your heart to enlarge because it can't get enough nutrients around to the body because of clots, right? Now, when you lift weights, you get big muscles, right? Your arm, your muscle is being asked to do more work. So it gets big, right? Muscles. If your body, your veins, your arteries in your body where the blood travels around are clogged with shit from the Jim Jones juice, if they're clogged with that, the heart is having to pump harder and harder. Now the heart is pumping iron. That's why these kids and everyone are getting enlarged hearts. Their hearts are getting bigger because it's a muscle. The heart is a muscle, and it's getting bigger to compensate for the hard work it's having to do trying to squeeze blood past these clots. Why is it that people are running out of breath? Right? The friend of mine, I can't say his name because there's only one person on the planet with his name. A friend of mine, can't breathe. Like after the Jim Jones juice came out, he can't breathe. He had to go to the hospital full of clots. Right? Dude's black. He was ash white when I saw him. I'm like, you know, what the hell? This fucking guy can't breathe, can't talk. He's a teacher. He's an instructor. He's got a great speaking voice. You know, super intellectual dude. Can't talk very long because he doesn't even have the energy to talk, which requires heavier breathing. He's so short of breath. I haven't talked to him in a while now. It's crazy. We need to see it for what it is right now. And we need to be telling everyone, this is what's happening, right? Now, are there ways to detox? We have a detox protocol that others have produced. I didn't produce it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert, right? But we've had people who have come up with these, right? Smart people who are doctors. And so there are detox instructions out there. And I think we keep them at both SBS, Subscribestar, and thepreparedmind.club. If we've got a link to that, hopefully Jolene can put that up there. There it is. thepreparedmind.club/general-7. Thank you, Jolene. You are all over that. The very best. Jolene, folks, like everyone here in the Prepared Mind Network, she cares. She really cares. Right? Getting detoxed is not going to hurt you a bit. Hopefully it can help you a lot. It is just incredibly scary what this crap is doing to people. Very scary. Right? Unbelievable. Okay. Let's do some super chat donations. We're at an hour and 40 minutes in. We're going to go 2 hours or 2 hours plus. As long as you guys want to keep asking questions, I'll be here to keep answering them. I'm operating at full mental capacity, no alcohol inebriation at all, even though like I said, I just had a discussion with Agent L, and he said, it's time to step it up, John. Think about it. I was like, you're right. I need to let everyone know that this is a very sobering topic, and we need to be prepared. It is Def-Con2. SHTF. All right. Let's do a super chat donation, Jolene. What do we got? We got Blue Core Devil back. And I was right with the 762 donation. 762, folks, by the way, is the 30 caliber NATO round. He says, correct, not asking for sympathy, just a warning. In 1995, before deploying to Haiti, the Army shot us with something, then said, you're the guinea pigs. It happened in people got sick at Desert Storm. What Blue Corps Devils talking about 95? They've been using the troops as guinea pigs for a long time, and it's very upsetting that they think that because you signed a contract with the federal government that they own your body. That was one more of the things that I strongly objected to. Right? I said, well, if I'm under contract with you, Uncle Sam, then you are under contract with me, and you are obligated to do your fucking job too. And if you fail to do your job, then you need to be held accountable. But no one can hold them accountable. They think they're sovereign. They think they're the king. No, you're not. You're the servants. Unbelievable. Blue Corps Devil, no sympathy, but I do offer prayers and hope that everybody gets over and through this shit. My fear, though, is the worst. I truly believe, folks, I truly believe that they are trying to kill us, as many of us as they can. Unbelievable. Okay, Jolene, I think we got some more super chat donation. We got the Piping Shrike checking in with an Australian $10 super chat donation. And we're up over 600 people live still at an hour and 41 minutes. And he says, thanks to John and the Prepared Mind team for all the work that you do. Where is Tiffany Dover? I think she's with her boyfriend, Ben. Ben Dover. No, her husband. That's about all I got for humor right now. That's what I got. Anyways, not only are we asking for war, World War III, nuclear war. President Trump said this about the president. He says, we have a weaponized Department of Justice and FBI. And, quote, Biden is turning America into a police state. And he is right. Damn right, jackass Joe Biden is doing that. He is turning this country into a police state while he turns and participates in turning the world into a theater of war. It is coming, folks. This is not fear porn. These are facts. These are facts. They want us afraid. They want war so they can declare whatever emergency they need, whether they want to openly say we have martial law or just say, oh my God, we need to be scared. We can get through this together. Hide in your homes for 2 weeks. We're going to flatten the curve on nuclear weapons. Unbelievable, folks. These people are sick. I want to thank Mr. T for the great promotional videos. This stuff. This kind of stuff is done by Mr. T. He's out there and he's doing what he can to make the show look professional with terrific graphics. And I really want to thank him for what he's doing. There's so much more that he's done that we're just waiting to get out there. But it's crazy, folks. It truly is crazy what is going on. We want the show to be professional. We want it to be entertaining. And we're not trying to scare you as much as we're trying to alert you to the scary shit that's going on. Now, again, I want to say that this bombing of the bridge, right? It smells more like the CIA, Mossad, and MI6 than a bunch of Ukrainian idiots who somehow slipped into Crimea, which is a Russian-controlled island, got a load. Unless they came from the Russian side, they slipped into Russia. They got a load of fertilizer bomb, right? Ukraine, folks, is poking the bear. Poking the bear. I don't think they're smart enough or talented enough. Remember, these are the same idiots who just a few days ago showed a Tupperware of gold teeth and said, oh my God, there's a concentration camp, a mini Auschwitz. And the Russians are doing this. They're torturing people. And here's a gas mask and here's a dirty dildo in the picture. And that's proof that they're torturing people. Really? That's the level of thinking in Ukraine, folks. I'm not making this shit up. It would be funny if I could make all this up, but I'm not making this up. I hope you folks, and I know you are clear up here, whether you've had a drink or two or not. And I hope you're enjoying the drink you had there, Cottage Farm. And thank you, Blue Cord Devil. And thank you, everybody. But whether you've had a drink or not, that you understand the seriousness of what's going on. Right? I love doing the zoo. I love getting everyone together. YouTube, Subscribestar, and the thepreparedmind.club. I love getting us all together so we have a nice live show. Over 600 people live, folks, at an hour and 45 minutes. The president can't even talk for 5 minutes without tripping on his tongue, starting to shake hands with dead people, wandering around the stage, and threatening Americans with F-16s. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, while he's doing that, Putin signed a decree, folks. He signed a decree. They are in, folks, even though it's a special military operation, an SMO, essentially they're in a state of war. They now have a draft being created and drafting people into the military in Russia. And they're tightening security because of the attack on the bridge. And they're identifying Ukraine. Well, because they have the most to gain by this. Whether they did it or not, Ukraine is responsible. Russia is getting ready, folks. Now all we need is the nuclear bomb to go off. And I pray that it doesn't. But I'm prepared if it does. Jolene, do we have some more comments? And we do. It's Mr. Skylight. And he says, she's the nurse who died from the Vex, Tiffany Dover. Thank you very much, Mr. Skylight, who is just on the ball. Tiffany Dover. She was the nurse who took the injection on television, live. She got the Jim Jones juice, folks, live. And she passed out. She dropped like a sack of shit right to the ground. Now, they said that they revived her. I don't believe it. They said that she was fine. I don't believe it. They put her back on camera a few days later. I don't believe it. Because the person that they said was her was wearing a mask. And I don't believe that it was. Where is she? Where is she today? Why don't they march her out and say, look, see, 2 years later, she's fine. Here's Tiffany Dover. Where's her family? I bet they got somewhere between $1 and $10 million and told you will never say a fucking word to anybody. Ever. Again. It's interesting to me how many people take the money and run. I'll tell you right now, folks, I have not been offered $1 million, nor have I been offered $10 million to shut the fuck up. I don't think I can at this point, and I don't think they will offer me that kind of money at this point. Did they offer Alex Jones money to STFU? Well, he was making good money on his own. I don't think he needed to. Right? So they took him out. I think they want to take all of us out, folks. I do. I think they want to take all of us out, but they're going to do it one at a time, slowly, through attrition, etc. Now, we're in Defense Condition 2, Def-Con2. Right? A bomb went off, took out a bridge in Russian territory, Russian infrastructure. The Ukrainian Defense Department is now threatening more attacks. Did you know that? They're threatening more attacks. They're not just poking the bear, folks. They're beating the bear with a baseball bat. We're going to find out, right? Right. Def-Con2 is officially or unofficially known as FAFO. Fuck around and find out. They're going to fuck around. They're fucking around now. They're going to fuck around too much, and they're going to find out. It is coming. Let's do some super chat donations. Jolene, who do we got up? We got Mr. Skylight with a $99.99 super chat donation. And he says this, and I do enjoy Mr. Skylight's quotations from great philosophers, patriots, founding fathers, and intelligent people. Here's the quote. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man. That's from Heraclitus, and he was a Greek philosopher. If you don't understand this, turn to the person to your left or your right and have them help you. And I'm not making fun of you. Philosophy is universal and is timeless. Heraclitus lived over 2,000 years ago. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. Folks, in time, you step in that river, you step back, that portion of the river has moved on. There's new river in front of you. And now that you've stepped in that river, you know what it's about, and it's changed you. Life is a journey. And as our discussion there, Agent L went on earlier today, there's a gift, there's a treasure, and it's hidden. And there's a box it's kept in. And the way you get in that box, right, you can't break it open. You have to figure out how to open it. It's a mystery. And it takes time and it takes effort. And that's about all I can remember. Thank you, Mr. Skylight, very much for that super chat donation. Jolene, who is up next? We have K&S Cleanup with a $2 super chat donation. Says, my mom got a regular flu shot. Now she has cerveza bug, COVID-19. What the fuck? Right. What I heard from a little bird is that you've got regular flu shot and then you've got cerveza bug, Jim Jones juice, anti-cerveza bug. And they basically put a little of both together. It's a cocktail. That's right, folks. It's a cerveza cocktail. So you can get it. Interesting, huh? The idea of taking a needle and poking it through the skin and penetrating my skin. My skin is a barrier against diseases, germs, viruses, bacteria, you name it. It is the biggest organ of the body, the skin on all of us. It is the most beneficial organ. Without the skin, we're dead. I mean, without the heart, we're dead. Without the lungs, we're dead. Yeah, I get it. But the skin is our big layer of defense. And you penetrate it intentionally and put shit in your body, and this is what happens. Sadly. And K&S Cleanup, I hope your mother gets over it quickly and regains all of her health and her faculties. Thank you very much. Who is next, Jolene? We're rolling in and closing in on the 2-hour mark. And we got Blue Cord Devil again with the 762 donation. He says, exactly. I got out in 1997. I know too many names of our brothers and sisters that never set foot back on American soil. I pray for all those that serve. I do as well, folks. It's when you're young, you're idealistic. You're enthusiastic. You want to protect your mother, your father, your sisters, your brothers, your family, your neighbors, your country. You want to go kick the ever-loving shit out of communists and terrorists. And it's not that you're naive. It's just that you're youthful, inexperienced, and energetic. And then when you come back, you find out that the world is not what you thought it was. All right. You think you're going to fight for everyone's freedom and freedom of speech? I mean, it's crazy, folks. Freedom of speech. In Southern Maine, the University of Southern Maine, in another seething, disgusting example of woke stupidity, the students are demanding that a professor be fired for saying there are only two sexes. The great philosophers of Greece and then Rome, they didn't have books, as I said. People couldn't read and write. I mean, there were some that could, but they would learn mouth to ear. The university, right? The colleges were on steps, publicly teaching people. And one of the greatest things they taught was philosophy. That is how to think, critical thinking, before they called it critical thinking. Logic, reason, before they called it logic and reason. There's the human mind. They didn't call it psychology. They didn't call it medicine. It was philosophy, thinking, right? The thinking man. And that is where colleges and university grew from, folks, from these philosophers, right? PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. That's what a PhD is, folks. A professor, right? Pretty sure he's a PhD, is going to be fired because those who aspire to be professors and never will be legitimately want him fired because he stated a fact. There's two genders or two sexes, and you can tell which one you are by sticking your hand in your own pants. And because he stated a fact, he promoted a truth, a fact. There's two of them, 1, 2. You either have a penis or a vagina. And boys have penises and girls have vaginas. They want him fired. Now, I'm sure this professor, when he went to school, that was what they taught back then, is there's two genders. And now he's going to be fired because a bunch of foolish idiots, students. They don't even, on my book, my score sheet, they count as acolytes. Right there, the lunatics running the asylum. All righty. Unbelievable, folks, what is going on. On the micro up to the macro, the whole world. It's like coming apart at the seams. All right, we got another super chat donation, and oh my gosh, good deal. Cottage Farm is back with another $50 super chat donation, and folks. These donations go in the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back Fund, right? Otherwise, I would be at the RMZ with brother Jimmy, who is probably either chasing a rooster off the yurt or just enjoying himself. Anyways, Cottage Farm says, I'm staying level-headed too, and I know you are. I know you are. I feel that it's time now. We're at this Def-Con2 in my book. It's time for me to really show the maturity that I need to show. Because people are looking for answers and solutions, and they don't need to see me half or fully inebriated, even though, it's a good time and I love partying with you guys and everything else. But you don't party while nuclear bombs are dropping. And I really think that we're just about at that point. We're just about at that place. And Mr. T, good golly, I see all the stuff you've been sending me because I've been eliminating everything and good golly, right? Here we are. Oh, by the way, after the bombing of the bridge in Crimea happened in Russia, 2, not 1, but 2 communication lines were cut in Germany, and rail services in northern Germany were suspended. Folks, I want you to understand, this is not about an Army A and an Army B meeting on the field of battle and fighting it out. We're in a full-on special ops, psychological warfare, terror, espionage, non-traditional warfare system, including cyber warfare. That's what is going on. And there will be civilian collateral damage, period. Civilian collateral damage. That means you and me, civilians. We're going to become casualties of war in one form, fashion, or another. So, right, this is the world we have been given by these morons. And have a drink, Cottage Farm, and anyone else. You can keep a level head while you do that. It's just I am now at the helm. And so I need to keep my shit wired tight. I do. All right, Jolene. Who else do we have in the bunker, the bullpen, if you will? Who wants to throw something at me? We have another super chat donation from William Nipper, $4.99. Thank you very much for your generosity, you and everyone. He says, what I want to say, YouTube will not let me, but men cannot get pregnant. I tell you what, I've tried. I've had a lot of intercourse, male, female intercourse. I've never gotten pregnant. And I've never worried about me getting pregnant. Not once. There is not one example where a biological male has gotten pregnant and had a baby through natural means. I mean, I guess you could say that every human being on the planet has gotten pregnant because we have flora and fauna that live in our digestive systems, and they're reproducing. So we're constantly full of and birthing happy little yeasties that help us digest our food. But, it's not the same, right? That's not what we're talking about. Crazy stuff, yeah. YouTube won't let us say a lot of shit, folks. They won't. But I'm going to say this. Chance favors the prepared mind. If you're not thinking, I'm not going to check out until I talk about BG guns. If you're not thinking for yourself, you're not a human being. You're not thinking. You have to think for yourself. Question authority. Question the reality. Question the truth that's been put in front of you. Test it. Literally test it. All right, BG Guns with a $4.99 super chat donation. He says, hey, Big John, hope all is well. How long do you think this new war will go on for? If by new war, brother, you mean the war between Ukraine and Russia, it is going to go on in this fashion, I would say, for at least 10 years. If it doesn't raise even higher, my fear is they're going to take it to that next level, the nuclear weapons level. Otherwise, we're going to have guerrilla war fighting in Zaporizhia, Donetsk, Luhansk. We're going to have that going on there, as well as these terror attacks that occur inside the breakaway republics that said, we don't want to be part of you anymore, Ukraine. So like a really shitty spouse, Ukraine is like, oh, you want to leave me? You want out of this relationship? I don't think so. I'm going to keep punishing you and beating you. And the judges of the world say, that's acceptable. We're going to allow that. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Go ahead. Start abusing those republics and the people that live in them. Go ahead and bomb them, poison them, threaten them, attack their infrastructure. Go right ahead. It's fine. What judge would allow one spouse to abuse another? Or would he say, hey, it's time to put an end to that shit. You can leave. All right, you're allowed out of that really abusive relationship. And that's what we had with Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. We had an abusive relationship where the military of Zelensky, the Azov battalion, was committing war atrocities that he said, it is what it is. What a war criminal. When you can say that, it just is what it is. It's cool. Whatever, fuck them. They're just a bunch of Russians, right? Who cares? That kind of attitude, right? So unless it goes nuclear, BG, I bet this goes on another 10 years. And the Cold War with Russia, I tell you what, how many times could you say, I bet John and Henry Kissinger are going to agree on something? Well, Henry Kissinger said, yeah, we need to stop that. We've made an enemy of Russia. We need to not make things worse. And he got laughed out of the World Economic Forum. They're like, shut up, old man. Right? We're going to cause this Cold War, and we're going to do it really well. And they're doing it, folks. They're fucking things up really well. Okay, now we are over the 2-hour limit. Jolene, where are we at? Have we finished with everyone? Has everyone had their say? Right? It is Sunday Night Live. It is the zoo. It is, folks. We got Jay Maskinnis in with a $3 super sticker. Thank you, Big John. You are the man, and you've been A little quiet lately. I know you're busy. Folks, we should all be busy, though. Doesn't mean we don't come together and talk, but busy, busy, busy. Get planned up, folks. Understand what's going on. Be aware. Don't let it bring you down. Don't let it hurt you, but be aware. Don't let it cause anxiety, but be prepared, right? There's a lot of information out there, folks. I spent a lot of time keeping an eye on it for you. So all you have to do is get ready, and we come here and talk about it. Things aren't getting better, I'm sad to say. They're not getting better. They're getting worse. Def-Con2. Shit is at the fan. And chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed. I love you all. I do. Whether you're in the Netherlands or Australia, Canada, America, anywhere around the world, if you love freedom and liberty, then you are, right? You are a brother or sister to me. Liberty comes first, right? Whew. Oh, we got Jay Miskinnis. He says, folks, speak about nukes like they're the latest thing since sliced bread. It is 77-year-old technology, and it is incredibly, incredibly destructive. It is old technology, but it's incredibly destructive. These people that want you, thank you, Ms. Guinness, they want you to give up your gas-burning automobile because it's dangerous to the environment. But these fuckers want to light off nukes. They are telling you your carbon footprint is too big, but they are going to light off nukes. They don't want you eating meat because cows fart, and that's bad for the environment. And these fuckers want to light off nukes. I know how to think. I know you know how to think. The Illuminati thinks and believes that we're a bunch of idiots. Write down their names, remember their faces. We're going to hold them accountable, folks. They're not going to win this. There's a greater power, much higher than the Illuminati. And they know it, and they're fearful. And that's why they're willing to destroy everything if they don't get their way. Semper Fi. Godspeed.